In the small village of Augu, where the hills rolled green against the sky and yam farms stretched as far as the eye could see, lived a girl named Nneoma. She was the most beautiful maiden anyone had ever seen, with skin smooth like shea butter and eyes that sparkled like morning dew. But Nneoma had a secret that only her mother Adana knew. She was born with the spirit of a python. Every 4 days, when the moon was highest in the sky, Nneoma would sneak into the sacred grove behind their compound and transform into a beautiful python with scales that shimmered like diamonds. This was her true nature, a blessing and a curse given to her family by the python deity many generations ago. Adana had taught Nneoma to keep her gift hidden. "The villagers will not understand," she would say, braiding her daughter's long black hair. "They fear what they do not know." So Nneoma lived carefully, joining the other girls to fetch water from the stream, helping her mother in the market where they sold fresh vegetables, and attending village ceremonies like any normal maiden. In the same village lived Obiora, son of the village chief Hesioba. He was tall and strong, known for his skill in wrestling during the New Yam Festival. Unlike other young men who boasted about their achievements, Obiora was quiet and kind. He would often help the elderly carry their heavy loads and share his father's palm wine with those who couldn't afford it. One market day, while Nneoma was arranging fresh ugu leaves at her mother's stall, Obiora passed by. Their eyes met, and something stirred in Nneoma's heart. For the first time in her life, she wished she was just a normal girl, not one who had to hide her true nature every 4 days. Obiora began visiting the market more often, always finding reasons to stop at Adana's stall. Sometimes he would buy vegetables his family didn't need, just to speak with Nneoma. Her laughter was like music to his ears, and her smile made his heart beat faster than any wrestling match ever had. As their friendship grew, so did the village gossip. People noticed how the chief's son would linger at the vegetable stall, how Nneoma's eyes would light up when she saw him approaching. Even Adana noticed, and it filled her with worry. "My daughter," she said one evening, as they prepared their evening meal of pounded yam and egusi soup. "I see how you look at the chief's son, but remember who you are. Remember what runs in your blood." Nneoma stirred the soup slowly, watching the egusi seeds swirl in the pot. "But Mama, can't I have both? Can't I be both python and human? Can't I love?" Adana sighed, her face aligned with concern. "The python deity blessed our family with this gift for a purpose. We are guardians of the sacred grove, protectors of its secrets. Love between a python spirit and a human can only end in tears. But young hearts rarely listen to wise warnings." Nneoma and Obiora continued to meet, now in secret. He would wait for her by the stream when she came to fetch water, and they would talk for hours about their dreams and hopes. Obiora spoke of becoming a good chief like his father, of bringing prosperity to Augu. Nneoma listened and shared her own dreams, careful to keep her biggest secret hidden. Their secret meetings continued for months, until one day, Nneoma's transformation time came while she was with Obiora. They had lost track of time, watching the sunset from their favorite spot near the stream. As the moon began to rise, Nneoma felt the familiar tingling in her body. "I must go," she said suddenly, gathering her water pot. "But why?" "The evening is still young." Obiora reached for her hand. "Please, I must go now." The urgency in her voice surprised even her. As she turned to leave, she stumbled, and Obiora caught her. In that moment, under the rising moon, Scales began appearing on her arms. Obiora watched in shock as the beautiful girl he loved began transforming before his eyes. Nneoma ran into the forest, leaving behind a confused and frightened Obiora. She made it to the sacred grove just in time to complete her transformation. But the damage was done. Obiora had seen enough. The next day, whispers spread through the village. Some said they had seen strange light in the forest. Others claimed to have heard the sound of a massive snake. Obiora remained silent, but his face was troubled. When he finally came to the market, his eyes were different. Where there had been love, there was now fear and confusion. Nneoma saw this change and felt her heart breaking. That evening, she confessed everything to him in the privacy of the sacred grove. She showed him her full transformation, expecting him to run away in terror. But Obiora surprised him. He stepped closer to the beautiful python she had become. "You are still Nneoma," he said softly. "Still the girl who laughs at my poor jokes and scolds me for being careless with the vegetables. This is just another part of you." His acceptance brought tears to Nneoma's eyes, even in her python form. When she transformed back, they held each other under the moonlight, both understanding that their love would face many challenges. But acceptance from one person didn't mean acceptance from all. When rumors of strange happenings in the sacred grove reached the village elders, they called for an investigation. The python deity's shrine had been untended for many years, and some blamed this neglect for the poor harvests they'd had recently. The village Dibaya Okoro was summoned to investigate. He was a shrewd man who had always been jealous of Adana's influence in the village. Through his divination, he claimed that a dangerous spirit was lurking in the sacred grove, one that needed to be driven out. Nneoma and her mother knew they had to act fast. The python deity had trusted their family with its blessing, but now that trust was putting them in danger. They decided to seek help from Adana's sister, who lived in a distant village where the python deity was still openly worshipped. But before they could leave, Obiora came to them with news. His father, Chief Esioba, had been having strange dreams. In these dreams, a massive python spoke to him, revealing the true history of Augu village. The chief learned that long ago, the village had prospered because of its alliance with the python deity. The deity had blessed certain families with the ability to transform, and these families had served as bridges between the human and spirit worlds. Chief Esioba, unlike the Daibaya, was a wise man who respected the old ways. He called a meeting of the village elders and shared his dreams. Many of the older men and women remembered stories their grandparents had told them about the python women who once protected the village. When Nneoma and her mother were summoned to the chief's compound, they went with fear in their hearts. But instead of condemnation, they found understanding. Chief Eseoba asked Nneoma to demonstrate her gift, and in the presence of the elders, she transformed into her python form. The sight inspired awe rather than fear. The elders recognized the blessing for what it was, a sign that the python deity still watched over their village. The Dibaya Okoro tried to protest, but his words fell on deaf ears. The villagers remembered now why the sacred grove had always been important, why their ancestors had protected the python deity's shrine. In the months that followed, many things changed in Augu. The python deity's shrine was restored, with Adana serving as its primary priestess. Nneoma no longer had to hide her gift, though she used it wisely and only when necessary. Young girls in the village looked up to her, not just for her beauty now, but for her courage and wisdom. Obiora and Nneoma's love grew stronger through these challenges. When they finally married, it was a celebration that brought together not just the village, but people from neighboring communities who had heard the story of the snake girl who helped Olgu remember its heritage. Their wedding was unlike any other. In the sacred grove, blessed by both human and python priests, Nneoma transformed one last time. In her python form, she coiled around the shrine as Obiora placed offerings of white chalk and kola nuts. It was a ceremony that honored both sides of her nature, both the human and the divine. As years passed, Nneoma and Obiora had children of their own. Their firstborn daughter showed signs of carrying the python blessing, and this time there was no need to hide it. She grew up proud of her heritage, learning from both her mother and grandmother how to honor the gift they had been given. The village of Argu prospered under the renewed protection of the python deity. The farms yielded better harvests, the streams flowed stronger, and peace reigned. People said it was because the village had remembered its roots, had learned to honor the mysterious rather than fear it. Nneoma's story became legend, told and retold around evening fires. But unlike many legends that grow more fantastic with each telling, the true power of her story lay in its lesson about acceptance, both of oneself and of others. The tale of the snake girl who helped bridge two worlds became a reminder that love, when pure and true, can overcome even the greatest of differences. As for Nneoma and Obiora, they lived to see their grandchildren play in the sacred grove without fear, watching as each generation added its own chapter to the story of the Python people of Olgu. Their love had not only survived, but had transformed an entire village's understanding of what it meant to be blessed by the spirits. And so in Argu, where the hills still roll green against the sky, and the yam farms still stretch as far as the eye can see, the python deity continues to watch over its people. Sometimes, on moonlit nights, those who pass by the sacred grove might catch a glimpse of a beautiful python with scales that shimmer like diamonds, and they smile, knowing that Nneoma's legacy lives on. In the end, what began as a story of secrecy and fear became a tale of triumph. Proof that when love and courage come together, they can change not just two hearts, but an entire community. The snake girl of Olgu had shown that being different wasn't a curse, but a blessing, and that true love sees beyond the surface to the heart that beats beneath, whether that heart belongs to a human or a python spirit. And so the story is told, from parent to child, from village to village, a reminder that the most powerful magic of all is the courage to be who you truly are, and to love without fear or shame. For in Argu they say that every python that crosses one's path might just be a blessing in disguise, a reminder of the girl who dared to love, and, in doing so, helped her people remember who they truly were.
Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share.